On World News Tonight this Wednesday, the American-sponsored Middle East peace talks. Is it brinkmanship or a serious breakdown? John Glenn, the Senator astronaut, he will not participate in a key experiment. Why was NASA trying to keep it quiet? And laughing for the health of it. The way they live in India.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. If only flowers made a real difference. In Maryland today, at the U.S.-sponsored negotiations between Israel and the Palestinians, the PLO leader Yasser Arafat sent the Israeli Prime Minister flowers to celebrate his birthday. At just about the same time, the Israelis were threatening to go home because they thought the talks were not producing the results they wanted. It's been that kind of a week. And the United States may be now getting itself more deeply involved with security between Israelis and Palestinians than it ever has before. We're going to start with what looks like serious gamesmanship. Here's ABC's Sam Donaldson. Sam.
Peter, it's high stakes. Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel has issued a statement through a spokesman saying he's going to leave the United States at 10 o'clock tonight Eastern Time if there isn't sufficient progress. In response to that, the president's spokesman, Joe Lockhart, said that was an ultimatum that was unfortunate, that the president believes there is still a basis to proceed. Now, the hope here is that all of this is just last-minute tactical maneuvering, that it's one of those standard things in high-stakes negotiations at the last minute to threaten to walk out. But administration officials say they can't be sure. At the Y Plantation on Maryland's eastern shore, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu put out the word that he and his delegation were going to leave because the security agreement drafted by the United States was inadequate. So was this the end? State Department spokesman Jamie Rubin was asked.
We are at a critical moment, in a moment of intensity and importance. But we can't hold people here against their will, and we can't make them make the tough choices.
The Palestinian delegation was quick to claim the high ground as against the Israelis.
We said yes for the proposals of President Clinton. The threat of walkout is being explained by us as a political blackmail.
When President Clinton presented a final draft of the U.S. security plan to Prime Minister Netanyahu in a meeting that lasted until after 1 o'clock this morning, the Israelis did raise new objections to the security plan, according to administration officials, who cautioned they were not charging bad faith. And the president said this afternoon he's been making the argument to the Middle East leaders that
the only victories that have lasting impacts are not victories over other people, but victories for our common humanity.
Peter, late today, the Secretary of State Madeleine Albright met with Prime Minister Netanyahu, and their plan then was to brief the president. A decision would be made after that briefing as to how to proceed. At the moment, any plans for the president to go back to Maryland are absolutely on hold. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Netanyahu has had a conference call with leaders of American Jewish organizations in which he's told them, we are not suckers, we are not fools, we have to be satisfied. Well, we're going to find out in a few hours, perhaps, whether this is going to succeed or fail.
Thank you, Sam. Sam Donaldson at the White House. If there is a new security agreement between the Israelis and the Palestinians, it is not likely to reduce significantly the mistrust between them. And so in a quite stunning development, the CIA is going to play a totally new role in the Middle East, and it does not make everybody happy. Here's ABC's John McCarthy.
For the CIA, there has never been anything quite like this. Never been a proposed agreement that puts the CIA so visibly in a position of middleman or so-called honest broker. Here's how it would work. The CIA would have agents operating in both Israeli and Palestinian secret police to help assess if each side is living up to the peace agreement. Some examples. When Palestinians say they have arrested a suspected terrorist, the CIA would verify that the person really went to a Palestinian jail. This would reassure the Israelis and help the Palestinians to verify their claims that they are trying hard to apprehend terrorists within their jurisdiction. Most important, when there is an incident like the grenade attack on Monday that injured 60 Israelis, the CIA, acting as middleman, would give both sides a way to communicate with each other when emotions are running high. Critics say it could put America's spy agency into a terrible position.
This will make the CIA the ally, the judge, and the advocate all at the same time. will be allied to Israel, advocate for the Palestinians, and judge between them both.
And one other concern, by casting the CIA in such a central role, there is a danger that the U.S. could be drawn more deeply into a fight that belongs to the Israelis and Palestinians, not to the United States. John McWethy, ABC News, the Pentagon.
We'll have the other news this evening when we come back. Sammy Sosa's latest home run, helping the people of his country recover from Hurricane George. And also tonight, a powerful politician with a deep history in the South, now in a real fight this election, the 98 vote.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by the new Silverado.
Something big is happening. Introducing the new Silverado. It's bigger. It's the truck from Chevrolet.
Announcing an amazing discovery. Now One-A-Day has combined herbs with vitamins and minerals to address specific health needs, like our cold season formula with echinacea, vitamin C, and zinc. There are formulas to help support your mood, memory, even cholesterol health. 7 new specialized blends for your special needs. Only from One-A-Day. Discover what they can do for you.
Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo, recommended #1 by dermatologists. It works. Works on all 3 major itchy, flaky scalp conditions. The leading prescription dandruff shampoo doesn't. Neutrogena T-Gel Shampoo. It works.
The purpose of Senator John Glenn's return to space is being called into some question today. The space agency has always maintained that the primary reason for him being on the shuttle next week is to take part in experiments on aging. But is it still so? Here's ABC's Ned Potter.
Sorry, Dave.
John Glenn says he's flying for science, not just for symbolism. He chides reporters for asking so many questions about what a hero he was.
Too often you get into the human aspects of this, you don't get into the scientific stuff that gets into everybody's house all over this country.
But it now turns out that Glenn will do less science than originally advertised. In August, he was quietly dropped from one high-profile experiment, a test to see if the hormone melatonin would improve his sleep in flight. Dr. Charles Seisler is the principal experimenter.
I told him on the night of the 26th of August.
But NASA and Glenn did not make that decision public, and 2 weeks later, on September 8th, Glenn seemed to sound as if the test was still on.
Melatonin be part of it, to see what effect it has or does not have.
Senator Glenn, through his press secretary, says that at the time, he thought the question of whether he would take melatonin in flight was still under debate. He will still be wired up for other sleep experiments in flight. But some people have been saying all along that Glenn's flight is more show than substance, and NASA knows they've now been given new ammunition.
The fact that he's not able to participate in the melatonin portion of this experiment does not in any way negate the value of this experiment.
Doctors say Glenn's disqualification from that one test has nothing to do with his ability to fly, but he had talked of it as one of his reasons to fly. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
On the money tonight, housing starts are down for the second month in a row, down 2.5% in September. Stock market volatility seems to be making people hesitant. The price of oil is still down. Drivers are happy, but Texaco, Exxon, and Amoco all report a steep decline in earnings for the third quarter. On the other hand, U.S. Airways and American Airlines like the cheaper price of jet fuel. Their earnings are up. On the subject of airlines, the Royal Dutch airline, KLM, is giving its employees a new course in how to deal with unruly passengers, how to say no politely when a passenger demands another drink, and how to use handcuffs, just in case. On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrials rose more than 13 points to close at 85.19. The NASDAQ market stocks are up more than 35 points. When we come back, Sammy Sosa goes home to health.
The party of the first part did not intend for the party of the second.
I should have used Preparation H.
If you had, you wouldn't be suffering now. Preparation H helps stop itch and further irritation with a soothing layer of protection.
I should have used Preparation H.
Stops itch, stops irritation.
I'm 64. Is there anything I can do to stop bone loss?
Absolutely. Here's proof. In a landmark clinical study, Caltrate actually stopped bone loss in women at risk for osteoporosis, whatever your age.
It's never too late for Caltrate.
The AIM Investor Pop Quiz. The first step to smarter investing is hoarding every penny, cutting up all your credit cards, seeing a financial consultant. Peace of mind comes from investing with discipline. AIM Mutual Funds.
I've just got this burning love for food. But sometimes it just doesn't love me back. Heartburn surging up to here. What my doctor calls acid reflux. When I get it, he says, get Gaviscon.
Only regular Gaviscon forms a soothing protective barrier to help keep stomach acid down, where it belongs. Mylanta can't, Hepcidase C can't. Only Gaviscon can.
So my heartburn doesn't come back to burn me.
Gaviscon. It helps keep acid down, where it belongs.
They've had to do a little remodeling at Pizza Hut headquarters since their co-founder came out of retirement to become a Papa John's franchisee. See, he thinks Papa John's makes better pizza than even the company he helped found. Today, Frank owns over 70 restaurants.
Papa John's. Better ingredients, better pizza.
He's got it.
Papa John's.
Hey, what's good here?
Try our Papa's Choice. That's a large pizza with your choice of up to 5 toppings for just $9.99.
The AIM Investor Pop Quiz. The road to retirement should be paved with lottery tickets, pork belly futures, lots of vacations. Have peace of mind. Call your financial consultant about AIM Mutual Funds.
There are 3 weather disaster stories in the news for us tonight. It isn't raining in southern Texas today, but the rivers rage on. Thousands of families already left with nothing, others downstream being urged to get out of the way. Officials believe they are now looking at hundreds of millions of dollars in damage. More work for the Red Cross. We all expect the Red Cross to be there when disaster strikes. But ABC's Ron Claiborne reports tonight that in the wake of Hurricane George, the Red Cross has a special problem.
Even before Hurricane George finished blasting Puerto Rico, the Red Cross was there, as it always is, helping people. It turned out to be the most expensive relief effort in its history, draining the Red Cross's financial reserves.
How much would you like to donate today?
Before George, the Red Cross had $88 million in its disaster relief fund, most of it donated by individual Americans. The cost of helping the 400,000 victims of George is expected to exceed $100 million.
As soon as Hurricane George hit Puerto Rico, even before it reached the Florida Keys, the Red Cross realized that very soon it would run low on money. It immediately began a campaign to raise $50 million, and at first, the donations poured in.
But then suddenly, the donations slowed down, short of the goal. Red Cross officials say Americans may have been less generous because it was Puerto Rico, not the mainland U.S., that suffered the worst damage. Red Cross President Elizabeth Dole put it this way.
It's just not as much in people's minds as something that's in the next state or in their own backyard.
However, one Red Cross official said privately she hoped the difficulty in raising funds was more a matter of nearsightedness than racism. Red Cross officials point out that Puerto Rico faded from the news almost as quickly as the storm did, and that, they say, is part of the problem. Like any organization appealing to public generosity, the Red Cross needs people to know that a disaster in Puerto Rico is an American disaster, just as worthy of American help as any disaster on the mainland. Ron Claiborne, ABC News, Miami.
Which brings us to Sammy Sosa. When Hurricane George had finished with the Caribbean, no place was in any worse shape than the Dominican Republic. And as Dominicans try to recover, they say thank goodness for one caring ball player. ABC's Juju Chang went home with him.
Americans cheered Sammy Sosa for this.
Swung on, there it goes. Ask and ye shall receive it.
But in San Pedro de Macorís, they're cheering a hometown hero who has come home to help. He's never forgotten about his people, he says. His people always come first. His return here was an emotional turning point after the battering they took from Hurricane George.
Sammy Sosa is not just a baseball star. Here, he's practically a patron saint.
In the month since the hurricane hit the Caribbean, Sosa has raised hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Welcome. Thank you so much.
His foundation is working with the Red Cross, sending tons of rice, beans, and water to a land where 80% of crops were washed away.
It's shocking that we can have this level of devastation, this level of poverty, just a 90-minute flight from Miami.
Which is something Sosa does not want Americans to forget.
Anything that people in America can do can help. It don't have to be like, ton of money or ton of stuff. It could be $1, one pair of shoes.
That dollar could help Alyssa Perez, who shares this classroom turned shelter with 9 other families. She lost everything in the storm. Many days go by without anything to feed the children, she says. Relief workers fear vast food shortages and widespread disease in the coming months, which is why Dominicans are counting on Sosa for so much. Juju Chang, ABC News, San Pedro de Macorís.
When we come back, a study in contrast and a bitter political fight in the South. We'll take a closer look at the 98 vote.
Has frequent heartburn been a persistent problem for you? Have you treated it but still suffer on 2 or more days a week? Do you keep getting heartburn even though you've changed your diet? Your heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease. Ask your doctor about Prilosec. 1 capsule daily can provide complete 24-hour heartburn relief because it controls acid for 24 hours. 24 hours. Ask your doctor if Prilosec is right for you. Call to learn more. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. Want 24-hour heartburn relief with 1 daily dose? Ask your doctor about the most prescribed acid control medicine in America, Prilosec.
Just a thought, that's what Einstein said. Just a view of the future, 2 paces ahead. Thinking about me, thinking about you, all the good things a little good thinking can do. Good thinking means new ways of looking at things. Poodle Lisa was smiling cause she could see wings spring from the brush. With each stroke of genius, the good things a little good thinking can do.
For the 14 million women who worry about light to moderate bladder control, now there's new Double Protection Compose Panty and Pad system. The Compose Panty and Pad fit together for double protection. There's a super absorbent disposable pad, but the real difference is the separate washable panty. It gives you double protection with a quilted panel that won't let wetness through. So why worry? Get double protection with Double Protection Compose. Protection that goes beyond the pad.
There is an athlete amongst us, disguised as a mother and a neighbor. And when most of us are still sleeping, she's running. She also takes the vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, and folic acid in Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins made by General Nutrition Centers. Tomorrow, she'll get up and run some more. Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins made exclusively by GNC. Live strong, live well.
Tonight we're going to take a closer look at the 98 vote. The midterm elections are less than 2 weeks away. The entire House of Representatives, a third of the Senate, and races in every state right up and down the line. We'll take some time every night now to focus on what counts in various parts of the country. And as everyone plays the expectations game, here are some of the basics about the Congress. This year, the Republicans go into the campaign with the narrowest majority they've had in the House of Representatives since 1954. They have 228 seats in the current House. The Democrats have 206. Not many incumbents of either party are retiring. And no matter what is going on in Washington at any given time, I've always believed incumbents, with their ability to raise money for advertising and organization, usually have a powerful edge. In the Senate, the Republicans have a 10-seat majority, 55 seats to 45 for the Democrats. 34 Senate seats are being contested, and in 29 of those races, it's an incumbent senator running for re-election. As for the issues, all politics do tend to be local, and as of tonight, best we can tell, most candidates in most races are staying away from the Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton scandal. Politicians seem to be talking most about education and crime, HMOs, taxes, and social security, as always. There are fascinating races in every part of the country. Tonight, a closer look at one of the war horses in the Democratic Party, who is seriously vulnerable. For many years now, the Democrats have been losing their grip on the South. They have half as many Senate seats there now as they did 20 years ago. And that is why the challenge to Senator Ernest Fritz Hollings in South Carolina is important. Here's ABC's John Cochran.
We hanging in there. We're doing it.
Fritz Hollings belongs to an endangered species, a Democrat in the South's most Republican state.
I got elected in 48, but I'm still a young politician working my way.
He's 76, but that's not his problem. Not in a state where the senior senator is 95-year-old Strom Thurmond.
I learned something from Strom. Yeah, you got to get with the beauty queen.
His problem is that he represents the old politics. He brags that his seniority brings federal dollars home. But South Carolina is no longer a poor state dependent on Washington pork. His 39-year-old opponent, Congressman Bob Inglis, argues that tax cuts would be more effective than pork projects.
We've got the most senior delegation in the history of the country. And it's not working for us.
Inglis and Hollings could not be more different.
Hey, how are you?
The young challenger is polite, almost too polite. Hollings can be arrogant.
Appreciate what you're doing.
A proud native of that bastion of the Old South, Charleston.
He speaks with an accent that is obviously condescending. That's old South Carolina.
Inglis represents the booming new industrial areas where efficiency and a zeal for global trade are valued more than social connections. But one thing has not changed in South Carolina. Blacks still vote Democratic here. That's why Inglis showed up for homecoming at South Carolina State. If he can pick up more than 10% of the black vote, he should win. But it's not easy.
We traditional vote for Fritz Hollings.
Hey, good to see you.
He our man.
There you go.
Ain't that right? We strictly Democrats. We Democrats here.
African Americans still like President Clinton, and that is bad news for Inglis, a Judiciary Committee member who has demanded that Clinton resign. That goes down better with whites than blacks.
Is there going to be more coming from Ken Strom? I think there is. Yeah.
Inglis is campaigning as Mr. Clean, refusing money from political action committees, vowing to make no personal attacks, promising to serve no more than 2 terms. Hollings mimics his rival with dripping sarcasm.
See, I'm a nice little fella. Get rid of the government. Term limits. What in the hell? That's why I'm running here next month.
Even Hollings admits he went too far when he used profanity in attacking Inglis, who quickly turned it against him.
Was it distinguished to call me a GD skunk? I wonder if it was courteous to say to the Wall Street Journal, kiss my...
Veteran journalist Lee Bandy says Hollings wouldn't be Hollings without his salty language.
Some people say it's refreshing that we have a politician who speaks his mind. And in the old days, that's how they campaigned.
Republicans insist Hollings is a dinosaur. What worries them is that he does not realize it, and the voters may not either. John Cochran, ABC News, Greenville, South Carolina.
When we come back, we'll change the subject. It really is the best medicine, the way they live.
When your allergies are a nightmare, you need fast relief. You need the power of Zyrtec. Prescription Zyrtec starts working fast and lasts 24 hours. So when allergies are a nightmare, remember the power of Zyrtec. In studies, drowsiness was the most common side effect. Other side effects included fatigue and dry mouth. Most were mild or moderate. To learn more, ask your doctor or pharmacist.
The truck. The award. The new Chevy Silverado.
the Motor Trend Truck of the Year. It's bigger, it's more powerful. It's the truck from Chevrolet.
Buy a set of 4 selected Goodyear tires before November 28th and get a $50 or $100 U.S. savings bond. For the retailer nearest you, call 1-800-GOODYEAR.
It hurts so bad. That burning sensation. So I saw my doctor. He said where heartburn hurts most is where Mylanta works fast. All down through here where you want help fast. My doctor said Mylanta.
Tonight, her husband's dead. She pulled the trigger. The jury said not guilty. What they didn't know is it all happened before.
Same number of shots, same general area, same claim of self-defense.
Diane Sawyer, Sam Donaldson, 2020, tonight.
Finally from us this evening, always leave them laughing. In India, it is the way they live. This week, we have seen how some people in Greece and Japan manage to have unusually long and healthy lives because they eat well and are productive. From India tonight, a somewhat different take on what it takes to live a better life. As Mark Twain once said, against the assault of laughter, nothing can stand. ABC's Mark Litke reports from Bombay.
With some of the most congested, polluted, nerve-rattling cities on the planet, the people of India could tell you a thing or two about stress. It's a problem taken seriously here. Very seriously. From the land that brought us yoga and transcendental meditation, now comes the Laughter Club, the absolute latest in stress reduction therapy. Once a week, people gather in cities all over India, this is Bombay, for a half hour of organized giggling and guffawing. 2, 3! Guaranteed, they say, to melt away the tensions of modern life and improve one's health.
This exercise is giving energy to our body.
And once again, we feel that we are young.
They certainly act a lot younger as well.
Yes, Mark, life is too serious.
Dr. Madan Kataria is the one who started this craze after years of observing how his patients' immune systems always improved following bouts of laughter, no matter what their ailment.
Like heart disease, like peptic ulcer, insomnia, psychiatric problems, depression and all.
Laughter, he says, is the ultimate cost-effective therapy. It's free and it's easy to pass around. Much too easy for a serious interview. What the doctor did was simply devise a laughter routine to exercise different parts of the body. There's the silent laugh, the lion laugh, the argument laugh. At the end of each session, people are so pumped up, they feel they can take on the world.
Laughter alone is the solution.
No doubt about it, the world could certainly use a little more medicine like this. Mark Litke, ABC News, trying to keep a straight face in Bombay, India.
We think you're trying to keep a straight face. That's our report on World News Tonight. Don't forget 2020 later and Nightline, of course. Have a good evening. See you tomorrow night. Good night.
Tomorrow, millions of Americans see the world like this. But a new device could help them see it this way. Watch ABC's World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News.